What's cracking, my good people? It's your favorite plus-size model, Tutan Reyes, in the building. Thank you for joining us on another edition of the Behind the Mask podcast. Our host, Takeo Spikes, and we get into a heated conversation about giving people second chances. Being that it's the holiday season, we want to give y'all an opportunity to follow us again on social media at the BTM podcast. Also, make sure you subscribe, click the bell for notifications so you can see when all the episodes drop, and also leave some comments, share. We love interacting with our audience. And remember, it's the holiday season, so give a little. Let some other people know about the Behind the Mask podcast. And remember, on the Behind the Mask podcast, there's only one rule. There are no rules.
Let's go behind the mask.
Welcome back to another edition of the Behind the Mask podcast show. I am your host, Takeo Spikes, and I'm calling on my player partner, man. He goes by Tutan, but everybody else knows him by
your favorite plus-size model, Tutan Reyes, in the building. What's cracking, Spikes?
Man, top of the week, my brother. We've been blessed with some great games, some great situations. We've even seen a few guys go out there and really have breakout games, dog. What's good? Man,
life is good, man. I'm loving it. Loving to see guys get an opportunity to resurrect their career. Man, it's what you want. You know what I'm saying? As a former player, you want to see guys have an opportunity to showcase their worth, regardless if they're young or a little bit long in the tooth, older age guys, like how we were. You know what I'm saying? We love to get back on the field and say, I know I might have lost a step a little bit, but I still got it.
Hey, but you know how you feel when somebody tell you if you lost a step. You know, the first thing that comes to your mind is, all right, give me another chance. Give me another chance to really show you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think it's fair to say, or we definitely need to give a shout out to one of our close homies, good friends of the show, Dez Bryant.
Yeah.
About second chances.
Man,
that's crazy, man. Dez hasn't even scored a touchdown. That was his first touchdown yesterday. And I looked back and I was like, man, when was the last time Dez scored a touchdown? Bruh, 2017.
Man. That's
2017, dog.
That's better than me. Last time I scored a touchdown was 1994 in high school. So he's doing better than me. But nah, man, that's what's up. You know, Dez getting an opportunity to get out there with the Ravens now and get in the end zone, taste that greatness another time. So you love to see it. Obviously went through all the injuries and everything, getting a second chance at his career, stuck with it. You know what I'm saying? Stayed above ground, didn't do anything off the field to hurt his chances. And now, you know, he's getting an opportunity to continue to play.
Oh, yeah, he is, man. And I'm sure he wished he could have done that when they played against Dallas a few weeks ago because, you know, he even talked about it. He was inspired by his 5-year-old daughter. She used to ask him all the time, Daddy, why aren't you playing football? And so I thought that was a cool story. He got the ball, kept it, and now he's going to give that to his daughter. So that was cool. You know, another guy who we need to talk about with a comeback or second chances. Antonio Brown, AB.
Yeah.
You know, I got to ask you about AB though, because like producer, can we let's bring up this clip, man, because you know somebody referenced AB earlier in the year, and we need to go ahead and bring that back up. So let's check that out.
All right, you got to be a plumb fool to walk away from $30 million.
You have to be.
But if you walk away from $60 million, you's a dumbass. You don't need to be in the league no more, bro. Because, you know, he's saying it's not about the money. He said that when he left Pittsburgh. It's not about the money. It's about the freedom.
Yeah, man. And you know what? I still feel that way. Like either you a plumb fool or a dumbass for giving up your opportunity to play in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was something we wanted to do since we were kids, Spikes. And AB had every opportunity in the world. Did his thing when he was with Pittsburgh. Started talking a little bit about Roethlisberger, the quarterback. You can't go against a franchise quarterback. You know that's never going to bode well with upper-level management. And then he bounced around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Went with the Patriots, only played one game up there, got some more off-the-field issues. And then now he's with Tampa again with Tom Brady. So he's not acting like a plumb fool or a dumbass right now. So he's getting his second chance at a career, and, you know, I'm happy for him. Again, as a former player, you're happy for him. But I'm not 100% sold, man.
I believe I'm sold now. And I think it's clear when you deal with BA, Bruce Arians, their head coach, he said it. If we even find out if one thing is remotely true, you're gone, period. And so that was proven to him when he was in New England. And that was the first taste of, like, man, like, this is really for real. And so now when you're dealing with the same type of male figure, when we talk about, alpha male dominant, of course, BA means what he says. Antonio Brown definitely, bruh, gets it. And this is the reason why I think he gets it. He started off the year, 8-game suspension. And now that he came back this week, scored his first touchdown, bro. 46-yard touchdown that beat the Falcons. And truthfully, I was like, man, how good could it be if it's the game winner? Well, the score did not change after that, even though it happened in the middle part of the fourth. So I think now we look at this Tampa team and we look at second chances. Like, I think he's about to take off, but more importantly, I think he gets it mentally because he talked about praising God. He raised the ball up in the air, and he understands what it feels like for somebody to believe in it. And he stated that. Like, I appreciate these guys believing in me, giving me another opportunity. That's why I'm believing AB.
Nah, Spikes, I'm going to tell you why I'm not buying it, man. I mean, first of all, I am happy that AB has another chance to resurrect his career. And like I said, as a former player, you want to see guys succeed. But the thing of it is, man, he don't have no pressure. He's not the number one receiver like he was in Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? The COVID protocols don't allow players to leave the state. So he's not like he can dip off to Miami and go travel or have those type of distractions. You know what I'm saying? He's doing the right thing, but to your point, he had the 8-game suspension. He ain't played but in 6 games. So I don't think there's enough of a sample size to say, you know what, AB is the AB of old in terms of focused on the field, ready to be dependable, be counted on. I just don't see it yet. I think we got to wait till that offseason because to your point, he's only signed a 1-year deal. So after this now, he has to keep his nose clean and stay straight and narrow through the whole offseason. And you and I know, Spice, that's when the most distractions happen, when it's time to go kick it, when people that were in your corner when you played, somebody might try you. You know what I'm saying? You might have an issue with his ex again. You know what I'm saying? Something might happen.
What happened? Did he sign a multi-year deal?
Nah, he signed a 1-year drink.
Oh, he signed a 1-year deal?
Yeah. So
that's my point exactly. That he has to act right for 1 year to get some more bread.
He signed a 1-year deal before, screwed up before. Same thing in Oakland. He had a long-term contract in Oakland, screwed that up. He had a 1-year drink in New England, screwed that up. So now you're down here with Arians. What makes me think, again, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. So what makes me think that in the offseason now, that something's not going to happen to where AB is like, you know what, I'm going to do what I have to do to make sure I stay in the league. I mean, I would love for it to happen, but I've seen it time and time again.
Bro, his first dose of reality didn't come until he became a Patriot. That was his first dose of taste of reality. It was clearly stated, when you walk in them doors, this is the chain of command.
Did he mess that up?
I hear anything. Yes, he did, and that's the reason why they released him after 1 game. And so that was his first time really seeing, oh, this shit real. And so now he has a dose of not just Bill Belichick, but it's Bruce Arians. So now I call it the Bruce Belichick rule. So he already understands and know if it's 2 coaches in this league that can harness in, control him, and help him to understand, look, man, we all here to win one thing only. Yep, I know exactly what you're saying. Now that I have your attention, listen, this conversation is getting heated. If you have an opinion, you know what you should do? Man, take it to our social media page. Text us. Let us know what's happening. Let us know how you feel so we can have some dialogue. Now, let me get back to roasting this dude because he don't know what the hell he's talking about. Any antics that take away from that, you got to go. He saw that up in New England, and so now that's the reason why, especially after a few days ago catching the 46-yard game-winning touchdown, bro, it brings belief. It brings more courage, and you know what else it does? The teams who they're going to face to close out the division, they know, oh, shit. They finally figured it out. Now we got to be able to prepare for another asset that is hard to stop. That's why he gets it.
Spice, you don't believe that, man. I'm all for second chances, but you got to think of it like this. If this was off the field and this was a situation where your significant other screwed up time and time again, and y'all mature, y'all 30-something years old, and you giving this lady another chance again and again, she's showing that she's doing everything right. But in your back of your mind, when you start to see any kind of sign of something in the past, you're not going to say, here we go again, or this is the same person I've been dealing with for the last how many ever years he been in the league? Like, yo, I'm all for second chances, but come on, bro, really? That's what you're saying? Nah, I'm not buying that. And for me, as a player, yes, we want the second chance. Don't get me wrong. So, it's kind of judgmental. But if you're looking at it from the offensive, not from the ownership standpoint, you're not going to give somebody time and time again to keep screwing you over, particularly when you're talking all this millions of dollars involved. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think the sample size is large enough yet, and that's why I'm not buying it, man.
All right. Well, I totally disagree with you because you talk about the sample size. He had millions and millions of dollars. Now he only has $1 million tied to it. So with that being said, he wants to get more money. So the longer you live, the more damn bills are coming in, and you got to get them checks.
So you're going to let your lady mess over you all these times like AB done messed over all these teams?
This is what I'm going to say. You told me who you are. Now, after you went through what you went through, show me. If you don't, you out the door, period. Ain't no conversation, nothing.
But he had mad chances. Like, look at other people that have had second chances and were able to do something positive with it. You know what I'm saying? Melo had all the issues in NBA. Now he's with Portland. He's doing the things the right way, but the sample size has been there, and he showed that, you know what? I am an asset to whatever team I'm on. AB hasn't done it. This one catch for me is not sealing the deal to where, okay, everything is just in the past, and now I can just focus on giving this man a boatload of money like we did before. Like as an owner, as somebody that I'm invested in my brand, I cannot commit to that on the long term.
Oh no! Listen, will he ever make what he was supposed to make in his prime? Nope. It's too much baggage, and they always going to hold that over his head. Only thing I'm saying is, a payday is going to be a payday. You know, what's more than 1 million than what you get? 2 million. So that's what he don't try to do. Keep raising the price up as high as he can and at least get something, because he's definitely is a more than a top talent receiver, but he's about the ball now too. I'm telling you, bro. Like he about to go get it.
I don't believe it, man, but I don't know. Have you ever gotten a second chance in your career to where you thought, like, you know what, it might be over, but a team was like, you know what, let's give Spikes an opportunity to come and see what he has, and then you know that you had to either do the right thing on the field or overcome some sort of adversity?
Yeah, you know that's a good point, because I remember when I tore my Achilles, back in 2005, that was a death sentence for great death sentence for anybody who had it. At the time, only one person really came back and played for an extensive period of time, and that was Dan Marino, but he didn't count because he was a quarterback. So I remember tearing it in 2005, missed the entire year, came back. Achilles was feeling good, but because you tear something on that side, now other complications are starting to happen. I tore my hamstring the first game of the year. So I remember new coaching staff was in. And so I remember man, I never missed a game in over 100 games. So now it's crazy because they want to label me injury prone. So I remember I got traded to Philly, and I had a good year in Philly. Wasn't great, but it was a good year. And
it was 1 year, right?
1 year, tore my rotator cuff. So that's when the injury prone started to come. So I missed the last game of the year. So my second chance came when I went to San Francisco. I had two choices. First choice, go to San Fran. Other choice was go to Detroit. Now, Detroit had Matt Millen. The defensive line coach used to be at Dallas. He's in Oakland now.
Marinelli,
yeah. He was the head coach. And I remember going in, and I remember, like, you know, second chances. He was talking about, man, like, if you come here, you're going to have to fight for a starting position. Who? What? Shit. Man, this is Detroit Lions. Who? You for real?
You wasn't with it?
Bruh. I say, listen, man, I appreciate what you're trying to do with the culture, but I ain't that guy who you need to tell that.
Yeah.
Took my talents out to the West Coast. Mike Singletary, Mike Nolan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
did your thing too.
And I knew at that time, like, that season was very important. The reason why I had to finish 16 games in order to have a chance to go back to the negotiating table. And then the other part was knowing, all right, do you really see when you look at this team, is this team really set to be able to take off? I was like, why not? You got a young Vernon Davis, Frank Gore, Patrick Willis, all of these guys in upgrades, Justin Smith, all of these guys that we had as an upgrade. And so I was like, you know what I did? And I took advantage of that opportunity, ended up playing, you know, the moral of the story is after I toured, you know, my seventh year in the league, I came back and played 8 more years. And that was unheard of, you know, because everybody thought when you had a torn Achilles, you were done.
Yeah.
So I guess that was my story of redemption or adversity.
And see, that's what I'm saying. You had the sample size over playing a whole 16 games healthy. And everybody doesn't get that opportunity, you know. And again, I hope AB does. And you think of like a Reyes. There's certain situations that are just like non-negotiables. Like whatever happens, you're not getting a second shot. So for him to actually get a second shot, he has to take advantage of it. Hopefully he does, man, because we want to see the guy succeed. You know what I'm saying? And you look at other players across the league that are still getting second chances now. You think of maybe even like a Cam Newton.
I don't think anybody would have seen the Dolphins beating. Well, I'm not going to say anybody, but, man, they beat the Patriots, Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And now the Patriots are out of the playoffs, bruh.
A big December win for the Miami Dolphins. And for the first time since 2008, the New England Patriots will not be in the playoffs.
Like that. Do you know when the last time that they were out of the playoffs? 2008. And I think before that, it was 2000, maybe one
or two. Yeah. Something
yeah,
like that.
2001.
Yeah.
Bruh.
That's crazy, yo. But we rooting for Cam to lead him on the way. I just think he hasn't gelled yet in that system, and he hasn't played the best. You know what I mean? And you wonder, coming off an injury-plagued season last year, is he fully healthy? Does he still have that zip that he used to have on the football? You know what I mean? Is he in an offense where he can actually excel and help lead that team to victory? And it hasn't just happened to this point for the Patriots, but I think he's still a solid quarterback. I heard people talking about, let's be clear, he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL anymore. I'm like, really? Come on, bro. He definitely is, hands down.
Listen to this bottom line of this. When you look at everything that was lost, big picture, when you talk about Cam Newton and the New England Patriots, one is, man, this is the first time that they haven't made the playoffs since 2008. You look at what has been accumulated through the Brady and Bill Belichick era. 11 AFC title wins. 17 straight seasons with 10-plus wins.
Yeah.
Man, that is crazy, bruh.
We hated it when we was playing because it seems like they just always kept winning.
Yeah, they used to beat our ass for the division title.
Right.
So when we look at this and I hear the buffoonery that comes out of people's mouths when they talk about Cam not being a starting quarterback, not even entertaining that. Now, one thing that I do want to bring up is, you know, we have to draw a fine line in the sand when we talk about what's next for Cam or what is the perception. We always talk about they remember what you do in December, and think big picture when it comes to the season next year. But what is the perception versus reality in this situation right here when we talk about Cam Newton setting himself up, taking a 1-year deal before the season, betting on himself to be able to go in and play well and be the long-term starter for the New England Patriots, or have an opportunity to go be that for somebody else? Perception versus reality. Do you think he set himself up for that next year?
I think he didn't play the best in what ultimately is a free agency year for him. Double digits interceptions, you don't want to see that from your quarterback. But I do think that he's shown that he still can be a starter in the league. And I say that because we looked at this previous offseason and all the quarterbacks that went before Cam Newton that got paid way more money. And Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Nick Foles, they all moved on. And arguably Cam has had a better season than all of these players. Why? Because a lot of them aren't even starting anymore. Now Cam might not start after this, this last week's loss to the Dolphins, but at the same time, he's able to do things with his legs that offset what he's not able to do with his arm anymore. And those other quarterbacks aren't as mobile as Cam is. They can't dive and get the 4th and 1 or the 3rd and 1 in short yards like Cam can.
Right. And
they're not as polarizing of an athlete as Cam is. So I think when you look at just those 4 or 5 quarterbacks that were free agents last year when Cam was a free agent and how they got paid, now they all sitting on the bench chilling and also have losing records on teams, I'm like, yo, you got to say Cam has done enough to get another opportunity. If it's not with the Patriots next year, it's going to be with somebody else. So I think he's still a starting quarterback in the NFL, man. Just the level of play across the board when you see the bottom half, and it's sad to say, but the bottom half of the NFL quarterbacks, which he's a part of right now, he's able to still have success on the field. I think he has some more in the tank, if you ask me.
Do you think, because this is a good question, do you think that I honestly think he may have a good, depending on how he finish up these next 2 games, I think he has a true opportunity to come back to New England.
Yeah.
And we all know it may be another minimum 1-year prove-it deal. But I think the reason why I say this is, man, he came in late into training camp.
Yeah.
And so you're asking a guy to be able to lead a ship. Like, it's just like if you got a speedboat and I pull you off the speedboat and bring you on my Disney cruise big ship and ask you to run it and be the captain, man, I need an instruction manual or something. But then how long is it going to take for you to be able to ingest it? And I think, and I'm not making no excuses for Cam, but I'm just stating it is what it is. And he's a special player. I think we all know that with his skill set. And I think it takes a little time, not only for coaches to be able to accept that, which the Patriots surely did, but it takes time for Cam to be able to understand that lingo and be able to go through the process to where both can come up and say, you know what, now we found our sweet spot. Now we found that. And I don't think when I look at the Patriots play on the offensive side, that very few times that I've seen them get into a rhythm to where it looks like Cam is comfortable. Now he's taking control over the offense. That's what my eyes are showing me. Yeah.
I think what it is, you talk about the perception and the reality. I think the perception is that the Patriots are this juggernaut that they were in the early 2000s up to when, Tom Brady won their last Super Bowl there. The reality is they still don't have a ton of skill position players that can go deep and take it to the house. The defense sucks. That's the reality. Cam isn't the same player that he was during his Super Bowl and MVP run. So that's the reality. But does that mean he's not a valid or a valuable quarterback in the NFL? Nah, he's still a solid quarterback in the NFL. And I think he can get it done. But when you got a defense that's not helping you and they're the bottom 5 in the league, they giving up, all sorts of yards rushing. Now you're talking about you're not getting any help across the board. And I think Cam is not the player now that can maybe put a team on his back week in and week out and win every game as it used to be. But as you get older in your career, you're not supposed to do that. You know what I mean? Even you look at Tom Brady, who we just talked about, who moved on to the Bucs. He doesn't have to win week in and week out. He has complementary pieces around that team that help him still have success. And I just don't think that Belichick has done that yet with Cam Newton and his style of play. Not to mention, to your point, he came in late in training camp, and with COVID, you didn't have an offseason where you could work with your players or work with your teammates, I should say, and start gelling and getting that continuity yet and learning, the nuances of the game or the offense. And Cam didn't have an opportunity to do that with a shortened training camp and with COVID. So,
well, who was more important, Belichick or Cam Newton?
For
Belichick, who was more important when we look at the big picture of the state of the Patriots, and you look at who received a lot of credit? We could say Tom is the GOAT when we walk away, but when we look at Belichick, and then you try to split them up and say Tom, so it's like who's more responsible for all of the dominance, the excellence over that 20-year time period that Tom played with the Patriots?
Belichick or Brady?
Yeah.
Belichick, hands down. He was the coach. He was the leader of the ship, and he did more with less than arguably any coach in NFL history. And less, anybody that makes it to the league obviously is a great player in their own right, but less meaning not a ton of first round picks that stayed on the roster, not a ton of splash free agents that everybody was coveting for. I mean, he made runs with Tom Brady, yes, but he put the pieces around Tom Brady on the offensive side to help him suit his strong points, right? Brady really never had to go down the field 60, 70-yard passes. And when he did, he had one of the greatest players at receiver, and that was Randy Moss. And that's when they had that record-breaking year. Other than that, he didn't have a 50-touchdown season. He never had that before. He had Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman.
He couldn't do it though.
Kevin Ford, he didn't do it. In 20 years, he didn't do it. The only time he really did is when he had Randy Moss. Exactly. That's my point. So what I'm saying is Belichick put the pieces of the puzzle around Tom Brady for him to be able to have success over that span. It wasn't Tom Brady that was just doing it. If you have all these assets around you that fit your strong suit as a quarterback, and you have a line that's pretty much going to keep you upright, and the defense that's solid enough to make sure that teams ain't just running up and down the field on you, giving yourself an opportunity to win, you're going to have success. And that system was catered for Tom Brady. And that's why I say Belichick is definitely the reason why the success was there for the Patriot over that 20-year span.
I got to disagree with you on that. And
you would.
This is the reason why. Because when I think about anytime that you have a corporation, anytime that you have a family, it's two things or two common traits that will be in that family corporation that will help them to be able to succeed. Structure is one, and discipline. And when I think about the greatness of you saying Bill Belichick is the reason why all of that has happened, yes, he instilled all of that. He set that structure up. But somewhere down the line, you're forgetting the IP of Tom Brady. Because if you didn't have Tom, he wouldn't be titled as the GOAT. He wouldn't be able to get all of those other receivers. Think about all of the guys who he got paid, bro. And not only did he get them paid, and some of them even went to other teams, but their loyalty still lies with them to this day. I think of if you had Belichick on that team, and if you did not have Tom Brady, you know what that team will look like over a 15 to 20-year period? The same way the Pittsburgh Steelers look. How many times have we had conversations with people who are Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and they are saying, we the best, we the best, we the best. They just get your palate ready for it to be disappointed when they get to the big show. Now, they've capitalized 2 times in the last 15 years.
They got some rings.
Yeah, but my point I'm saying is, if you don't have Tom Brady to match up with that intellect of a head coach from that structure and the discipline, it's not going to happen. So I'm not going to say it's Tom Brady. All I'm saying is you can't have one without the other. So I'm going to say both are equally as important to each other.
What a game. Hey. You're the greatest of all time. Why we're here. You're the greatest, and you're the greatest.
Yeah,
that success.
I just think that, and obviously Brady's a GOAT. I give him that class of 2000. He, still putting up numbers now in Tampa. I just think in that situation, if you take one or the other out, I think that Bill Belichick would have still gotten some Super Bowl rings over that same 20-year span.
No.
Are you crazy? You don't think he would have had another quarterback in there to help do the same things that Tom Brady was able to do? Really?
Why you think he let Brady go?
Because it's been 20 years.
It don't matter. He knew the only way that he could get 6 and play for how many? 8 or 9? There's no way.
Yeah. I don't think. So you mean to tell me if Brady was, let's say, on your Bengals or on my my Panthers or something like that, you mean to tell me you really believe that Brady would have 5 that long time? You think Brady would have 5 rings in that span as opposed to Belichick having his rings in that span?
Brady would have had 5 rings if he was in Carolina.
Yeah, now, Steve Smith, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like if he would Cincinnati, no, no. Too many of the pieces of the puzzle were not there.
Right. Who put the pieces of the puzzle together? Belichick. That's my point exactly. You said it, bro. I appreciate you agreeing with me, even though you didn't know you agree with me. You see how I walked you right into that, yo?
No, dog.
Can't even say that. Yeah. I got you. But I think, and if you look at Brady with Tampa, right? Brady's doing better now with Tampa than Belichick is with Cam. However, Brady has so many weapons on offense, and he has a top 5 defense, bro. That defense plays lights out. And if your defense is doing what they're supposed to do, you have a halfway average quarterback.
But you do know Cam has the 11th ranked defense. Now, I know
11th is way.
They don't stop the run well, but they're better than average defense.
Yeah, that ain't as good as top 5, top 3 in certain statistics like Tampa is stopping the run and things that really matter when it comes to nut crunching time. That ain't it. When you look at both scenarios,
and the defense is what makes Tom Brady who he is today.
I'm saying he don't have the pressure to do all the things he has to do. And on top of that, no, he don't. Because on top of that, he has so many weapons offensively. Gronk is still out there. You still got Evans out there. You got every running back, Fournette, everybody that wants to be a free agent that's coming to the Bucs because they want an opportunity to win, and the defense is playing lights out. All he has to do is continue to get it to his weapons and let them take over the show. And that's what he's doing, and that's why he's having so much success now. I can't believe
you. All he have to do is get it to his receivers.
He's 40-something years old. How hard is
That's been his job since the day he came in, is to get it to his playmakers. It ain't his fault that he didn't have the certain type of playmakers. My point is expectations is what makes the pressure starts to feel implied and applied. Because if he would not have done everything he did in New England, there's no way that we would be making a big uproar, especially in the month of November where he did not play well at all. But now in December, he's starting to pick back up and play well. So my point is, Brand, because what he has done in the past, winning the rings, all of that pressure is on him because he knows everybody is looking. And at a minimum, he ain't worried about the Patriots because he knows that's going to be the first thing people will judge him off of. But now he understands, in order for me to really make this move justified, they got to at least go to the NFC Championship game. Yeah. And they have to beat your old team, the New Orleans Saints.
Well, we'll see if that happens. And let me ask you this. So, with that being said, who do you think has an opportunity to win a ring without the other person, Brady or Belichick? And you can't even count this year because obviously the Patriots are out. But the next three to 5 years, who do you think has the opportunity to win a ring? Or who will win a ring first?
I would say Tampa would be in a position to, even if Brady plays another year. And even if he don't play, if you take it 3 years out, I would say Tampa. And it's not so much what both teams have internally, but it's like you have to think about in New England. Well, they obviously have to go spend some money this year to be able to sign receivers, offensive linemen, defensive linemen. That's one. Number two, you look at what's going on inside of the division. Well, good point that I saw yesterday. You look at it's 3 quarterbacks, with at least 2 quarterbacks in the division who are playing their ass off. Yeah. Josh Allen in Buffalo, Tua Tagovailoa down in Miami. Mm-hmm. And so they young. Like, this team is freshly built. Yeah. And so they got to be able to get out of the division before they even talk about trying to win a championship. And that third team, the Jets, which they won a game, the first game of the year. I'm glad you.
Whatever.
We'll come back to that later. Yeah. But the Jets, who just won the game, they're going to draft, if they get the number 1 pick, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. So for me, now Bill Belichick is going to have to earn his money from this year here on out.
But he has in the past.
But no, the talent level was just, I wouldn't even say the talent level, the coaching structure, management level. When you looked at all teams from Miami, Gates was in Miami. I ain't giving him no pass. You looked at Buffalo, ran through several head coaches. Up until now, they got Sean McDermott. And so, I mean, it's some comp. The competition is there. And so now, before they even talk about trying to win a Super Bowl, they got to get out of the division. And as we saw, the Buffalo Bills capture that a few days ago.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, man. Everybody's getting second chances. So, if we got to make another bet, let's see if you get a second chance to win this time.
So I want to laugh. What you talking about?
What's the last one you won?
So you still haven't fulfilled your bet on the 1 chip challenge.
What is that? Because somebody asked me, they said you agreed to the 1 chip challenge. And I was like, I did agree to. What is it? Because I swear I don't know.
Well, we'll get you on tape eating 1 chip. It's supposed to be hot, but.
Oh, the joint like Shaq did? He doing? All right, cool. Oh, yeah. I'm with that. Yeah, so
we'll definitely have that for you guys. But, too, it's always great catching up with you, having some good debatable topics.
Absolutely. Hey, happy holidays.
Yeah, see, you got that ugly Christmas sweater on.